If the devil can't stop you with failure, he'll stop you with comfort. They whispered, "Relax." And that was the moment your fire started to fade. Not because you were tired, but because you started to believe you had done enough. My friends, this is how the world dims your light, not with insults, but with softness, with sweet words that sound like care, but are really just distraction dressed as love. Hey folks, imagine a lion in a cage. Not a big cage, just comfortable enough. He's fed on time, the floor is warm, and everyone praises him for how calm he's become. But deep down, that lion knows he wasn't born for this. He was born to hunt, to roar, to rise. That's exactly what happens to us when we trade fire for false peace. They don't chain your body, they dull your spirit. They say, "You're too intense." No, you're too awake for a sleeping world. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." But what if the thing standing in your way is comfort? What if the real enemy isn't stress, but silence? Not the noise around you, but the quiet voice inside you that says, "It's okay to stop here." My friends, don't let that voice lie to you. You didn't come this far to slow down. You didn't fight through pain just to coast. Stay with me, because we're about to reignite what the world tried to blow out. Say it with me in the comments right now. Bring back my fire and let the world know you're not here to be tamed. Number 1, the most dangerous whisper is the one that sounds kind. The chains that are hardest to break are the ones you don't even know you're wearing. They didn't yell, they didn't argue, they didn't fight you. They whispered, "Relax." And just like that, the fire flickered. Not because you were weak, but because you were lied to in the softest, sweetest way. That's the trick, my friends. The most dangerous trap isn't the one that looks scary. It's the one that feels safe. Picture this: a warrior climbing a mountain, cold air cutting through the silence, bleeding hands, legs shaking. He's close, so close to the top. But then someone calls out from behind a rock. "You don't need to keep going. You've done more than enough. Just rest now." It sounds kind. It sounds human. But it's the exact moment he starts to slip. That's what they do to you. They dress discouragement in a blanket and offer it as kindness. "You're overworking. You're too intense. You should enjoy life more." Sounds nice, right? But here's the truth. When they say relax, what they often mean is stop. When they say slow down, what they really mean is play small, be average, stop outgrowing us. And that hits hard, I know, because deep down you start questioning yourself. Am I too much? Am I pushing too hard? Is something wrong with me for wanting more? No, my friend. What's wrong is the world trying to turn fire into fog. Because the moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop climbing, they're finally comfortable again. Seneca once said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." And that right there, that fear to dare again, is exactly what comfort kills. It doesn't stab you, it seduces you. You don't feel it all at once. You feel it in delayed dreams, in paused goals, in a life that looks okay on the outside, but is starving on the inside. But let me ask you, who are you when no one's whispering, "Relax"? Who are you when the world stops trying to pet your hunger and actually lets you feel it? That version of you, the relentless, focused, fired-up version, is still there. He's not gone. He's just been told to be quiet. But what if today he woke back up? It's not going to be easy. Let's be honest. You'll question your path. You'll feel alone. You'll battle the guilt of walking a road most people are too scared to even look at. People will tell you you're too cold, too distant, too obsessed. But obsession is what built everything worth building. Focus is what made the impossible possible. Fire is what forges warriors, not lukewarm approval. So today, my friends, stop mistaking comfort for care. Stop confusing calm with purpose. You weren't built to coast. You weren't made for neutral. You are the engine. You are the spark. You are the flame they tried to smother under compliments and convenience. And if you're still with me, if you felt that burn in your chest while reading this, then don't just sit with it. Write it. Own it. Show the world you're done being tamed. Drop this in the comments right now. My fire is mine. Say it like a vow, because what's coming next is not for the quiet or the comfortable. We're just getting started. Number 2, you were not born to be tame. You were born to rise. A lion does not lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. Let that settle. Because here's the truth, most people are too scared to say out loud. This world will reward you for being small, for being polite, for being predictable. It will pat you on the back when you sit quietly, nod when others speak, and tuck your dreams behind your insecurities. But let me ask you, my friend, when did you agree to be tame? Somewhere along the way, someone made you believe that fire was dangerous, that ambition was arrogance, that being intense made you hard to love. So you started softening your voice, trimming your goals, apologizing for your energy. And little by little, piece by piece, your power got packaged into something more acceptable. But you weren't born to be acceptable, you were born to be exceptional. Imagine a wild stallion running free in the open, fast, fierce, untamed. Now picture someone walking up to that stallion, tying a ribbon around its neck and telling it, calm down. You're scaring people. That's what this world does to fire-hearted people. They don't try to destroy you, they just try to domesticate you. And the scariest part? Sometimes it works, because it feels easier to be liked than to be feared, easier to fit in than to rise above. But easy never made legends. Easy never wrote history. Marcus Aurelius didn't say, make people comfortable. He said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. And being one means standing when others fold, moving when others stall, burning when others freeze. Let me be real with you. Rising will cost you. You'll lose approval. You'll make people uncomfortable. You'll walk alone more times than you'd like. But let me also tell you what you'll gain. Yourself, your power, your purpose, your truth. And that trade? That's everything. So next time someone says, you're doing too much, say, thank you. It means your fire is visible. Next time they tell you to relax, remind them, I rest when I rise, not before. This isn't about being aggressive, it's about being awake. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you to shrink. You are not here to be domesticated. You are not here to dim your fire so others can feel warm. You are here to rise, loud, proud, relentless, and unapologetic. Because nothing scares people more than someone who doesn't need permission to be powerful. Say it with me right now. Write it in the comments. I was born to rise. Let it echo. Let it burn. Because the next part we're diving into, it's the reason they really want you calm. And once you see it, you won't unsee it. Stay with me. Number 3, they'll tell you to slow down right before you break through. Most people quit right before the miracle happens. Isn't it funny how the whispers get louder when you're just about to win? Not when you're lost, not when you're lazy, but when your eyes start burning with clarity, when your steps get heavier with purpose, and when you're only inches away from breaking through, that's when they lean in and say, why are you pushing so hard? Just slow down. My friends, they don't whisper that to stop you from suffering. They whisper it to stop you from succeeding, because they see it. They see that glint in your eyes, that fire in your chest, that storm you've been holding back for far too long. And it scares them, because once you cross that invisible line, you won't be the same person anymore, and they won't know how to deal with that version of you. Imagine a rocket right before takeoff, engines screaming, heat building, ground shaking, and right at the point it's about to lift off, someone walks over, taps on the glass and says, "Maybe you should wait. It's too loud, too risky, too much." That's what happens when you're finally moving toward your next level. The resistance doesn't come because you're failing, it comes because you're rising. And you feel it, don't you? That strange tension, that internal war. You know you're close, but suddenly your mind starts whispering doubts that don't even sound like your voice. Is this worth it? Am I burning out? What if I lose everything? Those thoughts, they're not truth, they're echoes of fear. Not your fear, but the fear others threw at you when they saw you moving too fast for their comfort. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Why? Because your growth will always look irrational to people who've settled. Your hustle will look extreme to those who've given up, and your fire will look reckless to people who've gone cold. But you're not here to explain your fire. You're here to burn through the limits they placed on you. The truth is, most people don't fail because they weren't good enough. They fail because they listened to the wrong voice right before the breakthrough. That final mile, that last hour, that one last rep, that's where the shift happens. But if you slow down now, if you start softening your pace just to make people more comfortable, you won't just lose speed. You'll lose the window life just opened for you. Let this hit you. People are more comfortable with your potential than your progress. As long as you're dreaming, they'll cheer. But when you start doing, they'll squirm, because now you're proving what's possible, and that forces them to confront their own excuses. So when they say, "Take it easy," smile, because it means they can feel your energy shaking their reality. Keep going. Don't drop the pace. Don't dim the intensity. Because if you stop here, you'll never know how close you really were. Say this with me right now. Say it out loud or drop it in the comments. I'm closer than they think. Let that become your fuel. Let it carry you through the noise, through the doubt, through the whispers. Because what's next? It's the part they never want you to see, and you're about to see it clearly. Stay sharp. Stay with me. Number 4, the subtle art of manipulating the hungry into becoming helpless. If they can't kill your ambition, they'll convince you to cage it yourself. They don't need to chain you when they can convince you to sit still. That's the real strategy, folks. Not to destroy your fire, but to make you ashamed of it, to twist your hunger into guilt, to make you question if your drive is a flaw. And that's how the strong become silent, not by force, but by suggestion. See, the game is psychological. They won't attack you. They'll applaud you for being balanced. They'll smile and say, "It's good to slow down. Don't be so hard on yourself." And on the surface, it sounds like love, like they care. But underneath, there's a silent transaction happening. They are trading your potential for their comfort. Imagine a wolf raised in a house full of sheep. Every time it howls, they flinch. Every time it sharpens its teeth, they panic. So eventually, to keep the peace, the wolf stops howling, stops sharpening, and one day it forgets it was ever a wolf in the first place. That's what happens to the hungry in a world that worships calmness. You forget that hunger is holy. They manipulate with softness. They convince warriors to meditate instead of move. They praise peace not to elevate your soul, but to neutralize your edge. And you start hearing things like, "Why are you so obsessed with success? Don't you ever just want to chill? Isn't it enough already?" Enough? Enough for who? Because it's never really about you, is it? It's about how your fire exposes their frost, how your ambition reminds them they settled, how your momentum makes their stillness uncomfortable. And that's the trick. They make your growth look aggressive, your passion look dangerous, your focus look toxic, not because it is, but because they can't keep up. So they change the narrative. And if you're not awake, if you don't catch the manipulation hiding in those sweet-sounding suggestions, you start questioning yourself. Am I too much? Should I pull back? No. Don't you dare pull back. Don't you dare betray your own fire just to blend in. You weren't built for average. You weren't designed to coast. The Stoics didn't preach detachment from goals. They preached detachment from distraction, from the noise, from the lies. Seneca once wrote, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters. And you don't build a good life by slowing down every time it starts to get intense. You build it by leaning in, by knowing when the softness is just a mask for sabotage." So next time they say, relax, ask yourself, why now? Why here? Am I actually tired, or am I being trained to become tamer? There's a difference between rest and retreat, between peace and paralysis. One refuels you, the other rewires you to sit, to wait, to forget. Say this with me, say it out loud, and drop it in the comments. My hunger is sacred, because it is. It's not a flaw, it's a flame. Protect it, nurture it, and whatever you do, don't let anyone, no matter how kind their voice sounds, make you put it out. What's next? Oh, it's the part they really don't want you to know. The truth about Stoicism most people get wrong. Stay with me. You'll want to hear this. Number 5. Stoicism isn't about being calm, it's about being commanding. Still waters run deep, but don't forget, they also drown. Most people have Stoicism all wrong. They hear the word and imagine some quiet monk sitting on a mountain, eyes closed, detached from the world, whispering wise quotes to the wind. Calm, peaceful, passive. But my friends, that image? That's a lie sold to keep warriors asleep. Because real Stoicism isn't about silence. It's about self-command. It's not about avoiding chaos. It's about leading through it. You weren't meant to be neutral. You weren't meant to be numb. You were meant to stand in the fire without flinching. That's Stoicism. The power to stay centered when the world tilts. The ability to move with purpose when everyone else is panicking. That's not calmness, that's control. Imagine a general standing on a battlefield, explosions everywhere, chaos unfolding, and yet he's not yelling, not crying, not hiding. He's scanning, calculating, moving with precision. Calm? No. Commanding. That's what Stoicism looks like in real life, and you, whether you know it or not, were built to be that kind of force. The problem is, people confuse peace with passivity. They say things like, just let it go, but what they mean is, just let it be. They think Stoicism means ignoring the world. No, it means mastering yourself so you can face the world on your terms. It means not being controlled by the noise, the emotion, the chaos, but still charging forward anyway. Marcus Aurelius didn't write meditations to feel better. He wrote them to stay sharp. He was a Roman emperor, not a life coach, and every sentence he wrote was a weapon against distraction, fear, and weakness. When he said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." He wasn't trying to calm you down, he was trying to wake you up. Because here's the truth no one tells you. Being calm means nothing if it's built on avoidance. What matters is being calm in motion, calm in decisions, calm in pressure. That's where real power lives. But people don't want that kind of stoicism. It scares them. A person in command of themselves can't be manipulated, can't be baited, can't be controlled. So instead, they paint stoicism as this peaceful retreat from life, as a reason to chill, a reason to wait, a reason to stay soft. And you know what happens when the fire inside you starts to cool? You stop leading, you stop pushing, you stop creating, you become manageable. And that, my friends, is the exact opposite of what Stoicism was ever meant to do. The Stoics were warriors, fighters, philosophers with steel in their veins. They practiced detachment so they could make better moves. They trained their minds so their enemies couldn't touch their center. They didn't relax their fire, they refined it. That's the difference. That's the truth. So the next time someone tells you Stoicism means being unbothered, passive, or detached, remember this: Stoicism doesn't kill your fire. It sharpens your aim. It turns your heat into power. It gives your hunger a strategy, your pain a purpose, and your chaos a command center. Say it with me right now and type it in the comments so the world knows where you stand. Calm is my power. That's not weakness. That's readiness. That's precision. That's the edge they never saw coming. And in the next part, we're going deeper into why this world fears that edge more than anything else. Stay with me. The fire's about to burn hotter. Number 6. How the world rewards the passive and fears the relentless. You will be praised for being quiet, but never remembered for it. This world is rigged in favor of the tame. You smile, nod, keep your head down, and they'll hand you a sticker that says, "Nice." You follow the rules, shrink your voice, soften your power, and they'll say you're mature, easy to work with, humble. But the moment you step up, the second you start showing teeth, demanding more, moving with unshakable purpose, oh, now you're difficult. Now you're too much. Funny, isn't it? You see, they'll reward your obedience, but they'll fear your fire. Because the passive make people feel safe. The relentless ? They make people feel seen. And when you start rising, your existence becomes a mirror they can't avoid. A reminder of everything they could have been if they didn't let the world talk them into playing small. Imagine a volcano, dormant, silent, unseen. People build around it, praise how peaceful it looks. But the moment it starts to rumble, suddenly everyone wants to evacuate. Not because the volcano is evil, but because it's awake. That's what happens to you. When you were quiet, they clapped. When you start rumbling with purpose, they panic, because deep down they know they can't stop you, so they'll try to shape you instead. They'll give you just enough approval to keep you tamed. You're doing great. Don't burn out. Don't overdo it. Translation: stay in the lane we set for you. Don't evolve beyond our expectations. Don't grow so loud that we can't ignore you anymore. Because the moment you go beyond their comfort zone, you threaten their illusion. But let's get this straight. Greatness was never born in comfort. No one ever made history by blending in. Epictetus didn't preach silence. He preached resilience. He said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And mastery doesn't come from passivity. It comes from relentless commitment, from daily discipline, from showing up even when the world hopes you'll sit down. You know why they fear the relentless? Because you're unpredictable. You don't wait for motivation. You move with intention. You don't need applause to keep going. You have conviction. And conviction can't be bought, bribed, or bullied into quitting. That's the kind of energy that shakes systems, that breaks norms, that creates new standards. But it's hard, isn't it? Being relentless in a world that begs for comfort. People look at your grind and say, you need to relax. But what they don't understand is, you're not grinding for attention. You're grinding because your soul demands it. You're not addicted to progress. You're devoted to purpose. And that's the difference. So don't fall for the trap. Don't water yourself down to fit someone else's container. You weren't made to be digestible. You were made to be undeniable. This world doesn't need more soft-spoken brilliance hiding in the corner. It needs fire. It needs pressure. It needs people like you who are willing to show what relentless really looks like. Say this with me. Drop it in the comments. Tattoo it in your mind. Relentless by nature. Not for validation, not for praise, but because it's who you are. And they can keep their trophies for being polite. You're here to leave impact, not impressions. In the next section, we're going to talk about something even more powerful: how to protect your fire without burning yourself out. Because discipline doesn't mean destruction, it means domination with wisdom. Stay sharp, we're not done. Number 7. Reclaim the fire without burning yourself out. Your fire was never the problem. It was the way you kept throwing yourself into flames that weren't yours to fight. Let's get one thing straight, folks. There's a difference between being on fire and being consumed by it. And too many of us don't know where that line is. We think that to stay relentless, we have to be in pain. That suffering is the price of greatness. That if we're not exhausted, we're not working hard enough. But that's not power. That's slow self-destruction wearing a motivational t-shirt. You were never supposed to burn out. You were supposed to burn bright. But how can you shine when you're constantly drained? How can you keep moving forward when you're carrying battles that aren't even yours? You want to know the truth. Most burnout doesn't come from the mission, it comes from the noise around the mission, the expectations, the distractions, the emotional weight of trying to prove yourself to people who don't even matter in the end. Imagine a blacksmith forging a blade. The fire is intense, yes, but it's controlled, directed, timed. He doesn't just throw the metal into the flames and hope for the best. He watches, he adjusts, he gives it heat, and then he lets it cool. Why? Because without the cool down, the blade becomes brittle. It cracks, it breaks, and what was meant to be sharp becomes shattered. That's what happens when you push without precision. You don't sharpen, you snap. Stoicism was never about denial, it was about direction. Marcus Aurelius didn't say, "Don't feel." He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That means your energy is your responsibility. Your fire is your tool, not your enemy. And when you learn how to use it properly, you become unstoppable without becoming broken. But let's be honest, this takes practice. Because the world will applaud your burnout long before it celebrates your boundaries. They'll say, "Look how hard they work." But they'll never ask, at what cost? And you, if you're not careful, you'll start wearing exhaustion like a badge of honor, as if pain proves purpose. But hear me, pain is not proof. So how do you reclaim your fire without burning out? First, cut the noise. You don't need to respond to every expectation. You don't need to fight every battle. Not every fire needs your flame. Second, be intentional. Don't move just to move. Move with meaning. Focused effort beats chaotic hustle every single time. And third, recover like a warrior. Rest is not weakness. Rest is readiness. Even the fiercest lions sleep. Not because they're lazy, but because they're smart. They conserve for the strike. They know their power isn't proven in constant motion. It's proven in the precision of the pounce. You've been burning for too many people. Now it's time to burn for yourself. Not to impress, not to chase, but to become what you were meant to be. Sharp, focused, powerful, and still standing. So say it right now. Type it in the comments like a declaration. Burn smart. Burn strong. Let the world know you're not here to fade out. You're here to stay lit, with clarity, not chaos. And what's coming next? It's where we cut through distraction, where discipline becomes your edge, where the inner warrior finally takes the lead. Stay with me, the fire is just beginning to take shape. Number 8, discipline over distraction, the return of your inner warrior. You will never conquer what you're unwilling to face daily. It's easy to talk about fire, easy to shout about purpose, but none of it matters if you're distracted. None of it matters if every time life tests you, you reach for comfort instead of command. The truth is, most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they're undisciplined, because they let the world dictate their focus. One notification at a time, one excuse at a time, one "I'll do it tomorrow" at a time. But you You're not most people. You didn't come this far to get knocked off course by cheap dopamine and emotional noise. You're here to rise. And rising takes discipline, daily, deliberate, no excuses discipline. Think of your mind like a blade. You either sharpen it through repetition or let it rust through distraction. And when life hits, and it will, you won't rise to your goals. You'll fall to your patterns. That's why this isn't about motivation anymore. It's about command. It's about choosing every single day to be stronger than the voices that beg you to slow down. So here's your final truth. Your fire needs structure. Your power needs a plan. Your purpose needs protection, and it's discipline, not desire, that protects it. Say it now. Say it with fire. Type it in the comments. Discipline is my edge. Let it anchor you. Let it lead you. And if this message lit something in you, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop that affirmation below. Not for me, for you, for the warrior inside you that's finally ready to return. We're not done. This is just the beginning. Stay ready, stay sharp. I'll see you in the next one.